Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. As you may have been able to tell by the thumbnail, we are reacting to one of our favorite Scentsy top leaders today. And it just so happens that in this training that we're reacting to, Miss Lady Ma'am did call out me in the anti-mlm community. So you know we have to react.
We have been summoned into the field of battle.
Anyway, we're gonna get right the fuck into it, but first, we need the disclaimer.
No telling where we'll be going, but I'm gonna be on it, you know it for sure. Think I might be shouty at the crib. Can't stress by nobody child today. That's why I'm
If you've never been here before, it might be helpful to know that I was part of Scentsy, which is an MLM, multi-level marketing company, network marketing company.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Whatever you want to call it. I was part of Scentsy as a consultant for almost 4 years. I was on and off a consultant because of not being active and being active and all of those things. Anyway, so I do have a little bit of behind the scenes knowledge of Scentsy, and that is probably the reason I love to react to it so much, and because I thought that I was a business owner and I was on Honolulu with these purple Kool-Aid drinking individuals.
Aloha, island visitors.
To give you a really quick breakdown of Scentsy, if you're not new here, as I said, they are an MLM, multi-level marketing company. Their product of focus is scented products. So literally almost anything that you can find that has a scent is going to be what you find at Scentsy. However, they are primarily known for their wickless candles, quote unquote, which are warmers that use a light bulb and a dish to melt wax and heat it up so you can smell up your house. So that is primarily what they're known for, their warmers and their wax. I think that's all we really need to know before we get the into it. This is one of our favorite top leaders. I've said it in the past that she would, I believe, make a very good legitimate business owner, but she is stuck in this MLM with her husband. And we're going to be reacting to their team kickoff in 2025. Now, this was right before all of the announcements were made, I believe. And it's a two-parter. So we're going to react to part 1 in this video, part 2 in the next video I post. Enough rambling. We're getting the into it.
All right, you guys, it is 2025. I almost said 2023.
It ain't 2023.
I don't really know where the past 2 years have been, but we're here.
Yeah.
So we're really excited to do this little kickoff call with you guys. What we really want to do is be able to give you guys some practical, simplified ways for your brain to flow into the new year and to flow with your personal life, your business, and yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Do you want to say anything before we get started?
No, I always it's funny, you go from one year to the next and you expect all this different stuff, but literally like today it just starts flowing after a certain amount of time.
What, when we were doing content?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, but the main thing I always like to start with January. I mean, like everything starts over. I mean, you guys are used to that with every month you have a new start over. And with Scentsy, it's weird because your year usually runs from like June to June because of the incentive, or, the incentive ended or is about to end the end of this month. So it's weird. But starting off the new year.
That's interesting because usually when people are running a business, if they're not running their business by the actual calendar year, they're running it by the fiscal year. So they're planning out their year according to when the tax year starts and ends. I don't really think I've ever heard like your year starts when your incentive period starts and ends. That's a new one for me, folks.
It just means new systems, new ways of doing business. And I just think it's always good. And every business, every job I had, January was, you learn from what you did last year, what worked, what didn't work, what you were wanting to do, what you didn't get done. And now how are we going to go into this year and actually focus on the right habits to get us through this year to get us to where we want to go?
Yeah. So if you're in the chat, hey, you can say hello. I know we did not do a call in December. So especially if we have anybody new, feel free to ask questions in the chat. Say, hey, yes, Justin's hat is up. The writing is upside down. Apparently that's a thing now. I don't get it, but apparently that's what people buy now.
What the f is that all about?
Blew us all in because I don't understand the upside down hat thing. Is it just so that we look at you longer to figure out what it says? If it makes sense, then it makes sense. But right now it makes no sense to me.
He asked for it for Christmas. I was like, whatever. So it says Austin upside down, but we're really glad that you guys are still here with us. I mean, and I don't mean that in a way of like, oh, y'all are still here in Scentsy. I mean, like you guys, we're excited and you're ready to, you know, I don't know, like for me, I took December off. I don't know if y'all realize that, but I did. I've never taken December off in my business. I think that's one of the best things I've ever done in my life.
We did the party though, the Christmas
That was
party.
in November, honey.
Oh wow, that
That was
was
in
November.
November.
December flew by.
Yeah, so it really flew by, and I am feeling really refreshed and really focused. So the first thing I want to say before we get into tonight is if you have not taken the time after Christmas or after the holidays to just have a minute for yourself, just like, this sounds so bad because this is recorded, but I don't care. I think it's important. Like a minute to yourself. You're not thinking about Scentsy for a week or so, like just to clear your head. I highly recommend that. Being with your family, being with your friends, being by yourself, taking a minute to realize like, what is this year going to look like for you? What are your personal goals in life? Like, what are you trying to achieve this year? And just being still and really just taking a breath before you jump right into Scentsy this year. I want to just recommend that if you have never done that before. I've never done that until December of this year, and it was really helpful for me. So just making sure that before you just jump into the last month of the incentive and goals and all these things, just make sure you take a minute to yourself to really breathe and collect yourself, and just to look at, reflect on the past year, you know, but also taking in that this call tonight, by the way, is not about to be like, here's all these new systems and here's all these things. It's really going to be a different aspect of, hey, how do you really get your brain ready to do X, Y, and Z? So I'm going to start first, and then Justin has some real.
Okay, let's talk about that break she took in December. I brought this up in a recent video. It was a Scentsy React video. So if you heard it already, I am sorry. But when you are listening to somebody who is claiming to own their own business and take time off in that business, I want you to do something. I want you to ask them, how did they plan for it financially? And do they have staff or team to help them? How did that work? Were they just scraping the bottom of the barrel because they were burnt out and they had to take the month off?
I am feeling a little burned out.
Or was that something that you planned at the beginning of your incentive year? There are so many questions that are unanswered in these trainings when they're talking about taking this time off and preaching time freedom. And it's important to know the facts of how she was able to take that much time off.
Really cool, like simple systems he's going to talk about. But what I'm going to first say to you guys are a couple main points that I think are super, super important. I know this helps me a lot every single time that I go into a new year. So I used to go into the new year and like have all these hardcore goals and like want to do all these things. And so a couple of these tips I'm going to give you, I actually didn't think about until the last couple years, and it's really helped me. So the first thing I want to say to you guys is, for a top priority in 2025, and this goes for your life and for your business, but the first thing that will really be helpful for you guys to prep for, I mean, honestly, I feel like this year in Scentsy is going to be a really, really great big building year.
They are in for a surprise.
Plot twist. They're falling apart. You're going to have to like find some putty to glue it all back together, because I don't know if glue is even going to help Scentsy at this point. It's not looking good for y'all.
That the most important thing that I do every year is I eliminate clutter. And so what I mean by that is, whatever your Scentsy space is, I want you to get a trash bag, and I want you to throw stuff away you don't need. I want you to throw away the testers from 3 years ago. Nobody wants them. They probably stink. Yeah. Oh, look, we got
Bart in a man.
I want you to get rid of anything that is going to block or distract or get in the way of what Scentsy has for you this year. Okay.
She must have taken this advice, or my ex-director / family member must have gotten her advice from Chloe. I don't know. But they're both just throwing shit away. I believe I've seen her in other things talk about like overconsumption. And we saw that in my ex-director talking about overconsumption, and in the same breath saying, throw your testers away, throw the shit that you don't need away. Like, can we just take a moment to realize how hypocritical they're being? Anyway, moving on.
Totes, all kinds of things. Those of you that have teams, one thing you can do is you can put it all in like a big like Tupperware bucket, and you can say, hey, if anybody wants to roll by, I'm going to have this stuff on my porch. I've done that many times over my Scentsy career. But testers, bags, paperwork, samples, old paper, anything that you have that is increasing in clutter is going to decrease productivity. So decreasing your clutter is going to increase productivity. It's going to eliminate distractions. So you're not going to be like, oh, wait, what is this flyer from like 10 months ago? No, throw it away. You're not going to use it. What is this system from 5 months ago or this notebook? Throw it away. You're not going to use it. These are things that if you don't eliminate clutter, you're going to get really caught up in like all these old things that didn't work or just junk. And that is not, it's just not good for Scentsy, for your Scentsy business, because it's going to decrease your productivity,
They must have had like a superstar director or leadership meeting where they were all talking about getting rid of clutter and throwing shit out, because
they all sound the same.
It's just worded exactly the same as my ex-director said it as well. And I think they did these trainings around the same time frame, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Just something I noticed.
Your focus. And I did a training a couple years ago. I still have it on my YouTube channel, but if you're new here, it's called Mise en Place. And so there's a couple
Mise en place.
class, whatever. And it's
chef term.
Pretty much just prepping for your year. Okay. The second thing is creating a fresh space. All right. So if you don't have a Scentsy space, it could literally be in the corner of your living room or it could be in a Tupperware. I don't know what it looks like for you. It could be on the go in your car. It could be an actual office. Whatever it is, I want you to freshen it up. So I want you to make sure that everything's accessible, meaning like you can get to your labels quickly, you can get to your testers quickly, you can get to your samples quickly, you can get to all that quickly. If you have everything in just one big box and it's a mess, I want to encourage you to organize it, okay? Because one of the biggest issue or things that I come across in consultants, because 99% of y'all have other jobs that aren't Scentsy, right?
99% of you have jobs aside from Scentsy, because 99% of you are going to lose money according to statistics. Article linked in my description as always.
The biggest thing you guys tell me is you don't have time. Well, if I look at it as you don't have a lot of time, right, to grab things, you need to have things accessible, clean as possible, ready to go. I will say I'm very type A, so I am very much an organizer, a planner, all those things. I know that obviously everybody has different personality types and work types, but I will say working in a mess is never going to get you, what am I trying to say? If you work in a mess, you're never going to get anywhere. Okay. If you come from an aspect of being somewhat organized, having your samples bulk sampled, right? Having a space to where you can grab and go. If somebody does want to take a bag party, you have it ready to go in your space. If it's organized and it's ready to go, you're going to be a lot quicker. You're going to be a lot more productive. Okay. The third thing is figure out what workflow you need to be productive. This is really, really important. It can be, I put examples in my notes like time blocks. Maybe you need to get up earlier in the morning, later nights. Maybe you need to work before you get out of the car, setting a timer, etc. So one thing that I do, okay, now I do Scentsy not just full-time, but it's my only job now. And I like to say both of those things because I did work Scentsy and a full-time job for 5.5 years before I left that job. And so when I did that, my workflow was different. I was working in the car. I was getting up earlier and I was going to bed later. I was doing all three of those things, but you have to figure out when are you going to be able to work? For me,
here we go where the leadership gets a little rocky. Not everyone is a type A, and you can't force everybody to be a type A. For example, I am the furthest thing from a type A. I'm probably like a triple Z.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds rough.
We've gone through the alphabet 3 times now, and that's how far removed I am from a type A. I can't set a timer or even time block and have that work for me because I'm so scattered that if I try to be a type A, I will fail. It will not work out for me. I've tried for years. Since I left my medical assisting job in 2019 to now, I've tried multiple times to approach type A habits like I'm a type A, and it doesn't work for me. And I think that's something to point out because when we're talking about qualified leaders who have gone through leadership training and are legitimate leaders in their traditional job position, or they actually own their own business and they went to school for business, they know that everybody has a different way of learning and a different way of working and working their own processes. They know that you can't just say, well, you have to be type A today. That is not going to work for everybody. In my opinion, it's just a big display of her showing that she has no idea what she's doing. She only knows how to give advice for people who are exactly like her and have systems exactly like her. It's not going to work for everybody. It's not a one size fits all. And these leaders in MLMs do act like what they did is going to work for everybody else. And that's not the fucking case.
What is the most helpful for me, because I work from home, is setting a timer. So I started back on that today. So for example, and this may seem really type A, but if you're out of rhythm, you have to become type A in some ways to get in rhythm in your business. And I know that sounds really like, well, I don't know, Chloe, like I don't work like that. Well, in order to run a business like this, which is totally self-sufficient on you doing tasks, you have to have your stuff together. And so if you don't have a workflow, meaning you don't know when you're working Scentsy, right? And I know it sounds crazy to say like, oh, in the car working Scentsy, but for some of y'all, that could be highly productive time. Like if you knew and you had sticky notes in your car of the 3 tasks you do while you're in the car, one could be, you know what I mean? Like going live in your stories. The second is customer follow-up. The third is, building connections to sponsor. Those 3 things you could do in the car in 5 minutes. So if you don't have a workflow, I want to encourage you to do that. And I just use the timer on my iPhone. Some people, I've watched trainings where people have used kitchen timers and things like that, but I work from my phone. So it's easier just to do the timer on my phone.
I'll bring up another one for her since I know she watches my videos because she called me out in one of these 2 parts. Some of us who are triple Zs so far removed from type A, we just stare at the fucking timer the whole time.
I have no idea what to do.
So that's another issue you might run into when you're talking about a not type A person trying to do these things that you, a type A, is doing that's working for you.
So like this morning, I checked emails for 10 minutes and responded to emails and did customer return. When that went off, I switched and updated my team page and my leadership page with my images I do. When that timer went off, I did something else. And so whatever it needs to be to make you productive and not procrastinate or not wait is how you need to set yourself up for success, right? And then the last couple things, you need to prep for your customers. All right. This is something I haven't really trained on or talked about in a new year, but you need to prepare your brain and make pretty much a plan for, okay, how am I going to party this year? How am I going to get PRV? Let's take party out of it. Okay. Not everybody parties. How are you going to get PRV this year for your customers? What are you going to send them this year? This is a big one. And this is something that needs to be talked about because postage is unreal. So what is your happy mail going to look like? How are you going to keep it a stamp, right? What is your follow-up system going to look like for your customers? So follow-up system, samples, and what's your PRV style? Those 3 things need to be planned because then this is what's interesting to me is we talk a lot about sales goals and recruiting goals, but not how to get there. And you're not going to get sales and you're not going to get recruits without having a plan for that. So I do want you guys thinking as we're talking tonight, like how are you prepping for your customers? How are they, when they see you this year and they look at you and they get their samples and they experience Scentsy, what does that look like? Right? What does your customer service look like?
This is where I think she would be an okay business owner. As long as all of her team was type A, she knows that she has to focus on the sales. She's one of the only leaders, in Scentsy at least, that will go on a team training and actually talk about the products and marketing the products. She does focus on team building a lot and heavily, but she doesn't just focus on that. She does mention, how are you going to reach out to your customers and let them know about this, and that. So props to her for that. I always have to give her props for the things that I think she's doing the way that they should be done when you're trying to make money. But she is still in a pyramid scheme, in my opinion. So we have to call the other things out.
This year, what is the ideal customer experience look like that you're going to give them? Okay. All right. Next is, how are you prepping for your team? So anybody who has a team, meaning 1 or 1,000, it does not matter. You need to prep for your team. Mm-hmm. So what does prepping for your team look like? What do trainings look like this year for your team? What does connection look like for your team? So how are you connecting with your team? And what resources are you giving your team? So those are 3 things I want you guys thinking about with your team this year. What does trainings look like? And trainings too that are going to make you you. So like not everybody has to do the same type of training. So I want you guys to like be creative with that and think like, how do you want to help your team do well this year? How do you want to train them and equip them? It's going to look different for everybody, connection and resources. And the last thing I want to talk about before Justin goes into his stuff is dreaming. I'm a really big dreamer. I've always been a really big dreamer. I know a lot of you guys on here are as well. And this is really important. And I actually switched it around because first I had us talking about dreams for your business, but you guys already know, if you know me, you know, I'm big on personal dreams, like you and your family and yourself and those kinds of things. So the first thing I want you guys to really dream about and really map out for your 2025 year is, what are your personal dreams for 2025? So what are you, when you look in the mirror and you look at yourself, what are things that you know you need to do? Okay. So I'm talking, we're going to get real because that's just how I am. So health. Are you healthy mentally and physically? If you are not, I want you to focus on that first. And I know that sounds really crazy and really dumb, but I really don't care because I know what it looks like to not focus on yourself and work Scentsy and what that does to somebody. And it took me a really long time to get back to where I'm at now.
So you're a fucking life coach now?
I want you to hear me loud and clear. You're not a life coach. Neither are any of your teammates or any of your peers within Scentsy. Y'all are not life coaches. You paid somebody to get a join kit to join a commercial cult, in my opinion. And now you're pretending y'all are life coaches. Please stop. Just shh. Okay.
And so every person on here right now, there's probably something you know that you have not taken care of for yourself. I want you to do that first. Okay? Do that first. Make the appointment. Like, take care of yourself. This is very, very important because if you don't make it a priority, you are going to just continue to overwork and do Scentsy and do all these things, and it's going to be catastrophic for your business. And I don't want you to burn out. Okay. Also, what are you saying no to and what are you saying yes to? I want you to think about that as you guys go into this year. What are you saying no to?
Pyramid schemes.
I'm saying yes to this call because this is important to me to do these calls this year, right? However, I'm not doing coaching calls this month because I didn't want to go into the year doing that. So what are you saying yes to and what are you saying no to in your business and in your personal life? And do you have hobbies? This sounds really dumb, but listen, a couple of years ago, I had none. Now I'm starting to get them. I do gardening. I'm starting to learn how to sew. I think those are the only two hobbies I have.
For now.
But 12 years
You
ago.
like playing pickleball?
I've played literally twice. But
What are we doing?
Honestly, I have no fucking idea.
Okay. I just have no words. Like, I'm trying to find the words. If you're on a team call, a business call, a training, a whatever, anything that has to do with your business or your job, and they tell you that they went so long without having a hobby because they were busy with their Scentsy business, run the away. If Scentsy is their business and their hobby and their community, that's a dangerous place to be. I always say that I love what I do and this has become my job, luckily, and I thank everything for that every single day that I open my eyes. However, it is my job now, and so I treat it like a job. And even though I love what I do, I know that I need outside things. Like, what do I like to do outside of creating content and doing YouTube and all those things? You have to have hobbies outside of your job. And if you go years without having hobbies and that's seen as normal within your quote unquote community, that's a red flag.
before the past 2-3 years, I had no hobbies.
Yeah.
All I did was Scentsy.
Scentsy was your hobby and your
Scentsy was my hobby. And Scentsy's great, but Scentsy is not a hobby for me. It's a business now. So I want you guys to also think about, what hobbies do you have? Do you have a hobby? And if you don't, get one, man. It has helped me so much just with like my joy and my peace. And it's helped me be a better consultant and a better person.
Where
okay?
are you serving too? Because you started serving too, and then you love doing that.
Yeah. And I started serving in youth a couple years ago, which a lot of you guys know, but that was, if you are plugged into your community, if you're not plugged into your community, whether it be church or outside of church, anywhere in your community, I think is great.
Serving.
In general,
Giving.
serving is great in general in your community.
Giving is the biggest thing you can do for your business in anything.
Yeah, so personal dreams, first thing. And then I want you guys to write these down. So as you guys, because I told you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna need one of those blankets. You started making blankets. We love blankets.
Let's circle back to the last Scentsy video I posted last week. If you missed it, we reacted to a Scentsy consultant who gave up going to school to be an RN. She was on her last year of school. She gave up her RN degree that she dreamt of for years to pursue her Scentsy business. But right here in the same community, this individual is saying dream. Have dreams. Go after your dreams. So which is it? Do we have to give up our actual dreams to be successful, quote unquote, in an MLM like Scentsy? Or do we go after our dreams and somehow also work the Scentsy quote unquote business to be profitable? What the fuck is it? The contradictions within the community, we can't go without mentioning them. All of these leaders are saying different things that contradict each other. Why?
Do a little switcheroo, girl. I'm trying to learn how to make some clothes, so we could do a little switcheroo.
Yeah.
But I want you guys to be writing these things down as dreams come into your head. I want you writing these things down tonight. I want you being bold, writing it down so you can go ahead and actively start becoming accountable to, okay, how am I going to take care of myself this year so I can have a highly productive business? So when I am in the car and I know I could work Scentsy for 10 minutes, I can do it instead of crying and being overwhelmed because I'm not taking care of myself. Do y'all see the difference? If you are taking care of yourself, and again, I will beat this down to the floor because this is not talked about enough in direct sales. You must take care of your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Please just do that for me this year. You will be such a better person. Okay. Trust me. Y'all have seen me through the years. We cannot go back. We cannot go back to that. And then the next thing I want you dreaming about is your business.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want your business to look like on December 31st?
When somebody says they work on their mental health and that's important to them, I can't go without recognizing that. So props to her for recognizing that she needed to do whatever she had to do to get her mental health back on track. I love that. I think that's so important no matter what the fuck business you're in. Please, everybody, pay attention to your mental health and do what you have to do for you when you need it or even before you need it.
What if you could close your eyes and you could picture the biggest success in your business? What does it look like?
A fair wage.
Do you want to earn annual sales? Do you want to earn annual mentor? Do you want to earn a trip? Do you want to have a $10,000 PRV month? I remember Alexandria because I saw she was on her earlier. She texted me a few months ago, and even earlier this year, we talked about, she was like, I'm going to have a $10,000 month, and she did it a few months ago. So, that may seem really out of reach, and some of y'all may be like, I would never do that. But whatever your business dreams are, I want you writing them down. I want you thinking bold. I want you thinking big. Do you want to have a $2,000 PRV month? Those are just some examples. Do you want to go to SFR? Do you want to promote? Do you want to replace your income? Do you want just an extra X amount a month? I want these things written down when you guys are writing down these business dreams for 2025. I want us to be super in depth and very intentional. Okay. And so I want you guys writing these dreams down. And then after that, it's going to be time to make an action plan. An action plan is really, really simple. It's literally going to be, these are your goals that you want to hit in 2025 for your personal life and your business, both. I want the action plan for both. Hang on.
You want me to share the screen?
No, I'll share the action plan we have on the pages after this. I'm just making it very simple for them.
Gotcha.
Because the action plan is simply, this is what it is. These are the things you want. How are you going to get there is the action plan. Okay. So you want to hit 2,000 PRV 5 times this year. Okay. You want 2,000 PRV 5 times this year. That's a freaking killer goal, by the way. Okay. The next part of the action plan is how are you going to get there? What are you going to do to get there? Okay. And then I want you breaking your goals down this year. All right. Weekly, monthly, 6 month, and yearly. Okay. 4 types of goals: weekly, monthly, 6 months, and yearly. And then I want you writing them down. I know I said that already, but for me, I take my goals very, very seriously. I actually type everything up and I print it out and I put it on my board, and then I write stuff down on my board. I have a clear board. So if you could invest in anything for your business this year, the clear boards on Etsy are really awesome, and they have cheaper ones now, but there is such a difference. It's almost like whenever you have the little whiteboard on the fridge and write stuff on it for groceries, like there's a difference in actually having something in front of your face. And I'm a firm believer in that.
Okay, that's common sense. Nothing groundbreaking yet. Where are we going? These leaders love to waste their team's time.
And just sharing your goals with somebody. Okay. So after you write all these goals down, and think about it. I want y'all to be intentional. This shouldn't be something that you do in a night. This should take you a couple of days, because your goals and your dreams and your aspirations for this year matter. After you write all of them down, I want you to send them to me or your sponsor. If you don't have a sponsor, send them to me. I want to read them. I want to see them. I want to stand in agreement with you. I want to dream with you. Okay. It's really important not only to write them down, but to share them. Okay. This sounds very, very.
What if they don't have to do with Scentsy? I wonder what the reaction is there. Is it okay if their goals and dreams don't have to do with Scentsy and you're reading them? Or do they have to revolve around Scentsy?
Weird.
They just did a study. If you write it down, you're 83% or something crazy. They just released a study. It's like 83% more likely to hit the goal if you write it down.
Yes.
I don't know. You have to look up that statistic. May be off. It may be only
No,
like
it
63.
it is. That's the thing.
It's extremely high.
Yeah. And so are you scanning this for questions? And if y'all have any questions along the way, feel free to ask, but I figured y'all wouldn't have any yet. So that's really what I wanted to share with you guys, because I know for me to get a fresh start, I have to do all these things I just said: eliminate clutter, create my fresh space, figure out my workflow for this year. It's always going to be different, guys.
My body still hurts from her eliminating the clutter because I had to go to the dump and take it all.
He did. I decluttered my whole house. I don't play.
Everything got decluttered.
Nothing was safe. Zero. Nothing was safe.
My
But-
ECU vest is gone too.
But no, it's just hidden. I hid some of his shirts because they're ugly. I'm not telling him where they are.
That's interesting.
When you have a clear space and a clear mind and a clear office space, then when it's time for you to write down your dreams and write down your goals, there is a process for this. And that's why I went in order. So I am going to share all these notes on the pages too. But yeah, that's really what I wanted to share tonight. Justin's about to give you guys some content, a little background about him. So Justin actually just started back at a big boy job 3.5 months ago. So he is what do you do? You're a
assistant vice president for United Bank here. So I deal with businesses.
Lending, right?
Well, yeah, lending
people.
and businesses generating over $1 million in exposure a year.
So-
What was that? I think we already addressed this in a past video that I reacted to her in. I don't remember. Maybe it was a reel. I don't know.
What success looked like in the banking industry, but I wasn't creating wealth. You know, Chloe, her business was getting to the point now where it could pay our bills if we both left our jobs.
But anyway, pretty sure she was one of the top leaders that bragged about retiring her husband. What happened there?
But to break that down, the reason he's going to share, I don't know if he got this off ChatGPT. I don't know what he did, but he does talk to a lot of people on a daily basis. He closes a lot of deals. He does. Oh, I need to mute. I don't think I muted this. How do I mute it? Hang on, y'all. You remember how to mute?
It's right.
It always.
It's right here. The participants work.
There we go.
Or, hold on.
Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to mute it and I forgot. There we go. I got it. It always goes away. No. All right. But he's going to share a little bit more about like the technical side of how to run your business this year, because I'm more of like not a cheerleader, but y'all know I'm more, here's the process, and Justin's more of a numbers guy. So what Justin is going to share with you guys is a couple things that you guys can do this year to really get your business on track, because I've seen some of you guys already share in the chat some of the things you're wanting to do this year. Oh, also, if some of you do a word for your year, I highly recommend that. Mine just came to me this morning when I was journaling and doing my devotional. But if that is, some people are word people, some people aren't. Don't get caught up in that. If you're not a word person, if nothing comes up to you, it's fine. You know what I mean? That's not a big deal. But Justin's gonna share some of his stuff now.
And so one thing I like to say, and this is something that I'll ask you guys to think about real quick. What's something in your business this year that, if you can think of right now, was the most valuable for your business that you spent time on? And what I mean by that was,
That's good.
What I mean by that is something consistently that you did in your business that you saw and felt results from. If you feel like sharing, please put it in the comments, but I want you to think about that for about 30 seconds. Something that you noticed work in your business that you did consistently and developed a habit for. Just think about it real quick. Chloe, you think too.
I am thinking. Yeah, y'all
that you noticed. Something that you noticed, or something you didn't do that you did do.
Yeah, it's like it's going to be so groundbreaking. Like, oh, I just dropped that bomb on them. What are they gonna do now? He gives such bro marketer vibes.
That could be said. Texting my customers 2 times a week. One is personal chat and one, okay, that's something good. I like to see it.
I'm reading everybody's. I love everything y'all are saying. Yeah, and I think that is
Well,
actually
and-
really important
yeah.
because did you get that idea? Because the other night when I was saying, what do you want to keep and what do you want to get rid of?
Yeah.
Is that what made you think of that?
Yeah. Well, and that also, I listened to a podcast, and it's something that you have to think about as owners of businesses. Sometimes you get so used to doing the same thing over and over again because it worked that you don't notice when it's not working no more.
Yeah.
And that's what I want you to start thinking about, being honest with yourselves and thinking about what's something or a month or something that happened this year in your business that you saw a direct benefit from.
And this is great too, because y'all can see that again, see what people do, be encouraged, but you don't have to pick up everything people do, but look at what some people are saying. And these are wonderful ideas.
Okay. So good. You're noticing, all right, I'm loving this.
Care to fill us in?
What are they noticing? I don't know. I don't have the chat. Yay! Plot twist. There's nobody even in the call. Nobody's answering them. They're just putting this on YouTube like people were there. What the fuck is happening?
Oh, good. I'm so proud of you guys.
This is
Y'all
great.
are ready. Y'all are ready. I love it. Katrina, I'm gonna need you to go live a lot this year. We talked
Yes.
about this the whole last year.
So that's what I'm trying to do here. And
Go live. Going live on Facebook and Instagram is not going to help any Scentsy consultant right now.
it goes along with my first point here, but it also brings something interesting. I'm noticing a lot of things are not geared around building leaders or recruiting, which is not a problem. It's not an issue. I just know that that's something that also has been lacking in general. And it's something for us too, as far as building leaders, where we didn't build leaders and spend time with them, not spending time with them, but they just didn't build, or it just, everything started shifting in the past 18 months. I've noticed a huge shift to where everything now is just solely focused on customer and customer relationships. And I think it's because we've been hearing a lot of no's and joining. And so we've just automatically started assuming that people don't want to join.
What the fuck did he just say? Is that not what should be the main focus of your quote unquote business? An exchange of money for product, not an exchange of money for a place on your team so you can get more money? That's not a business, that's a pyramid scheme. But thank you, Justin, for saying the quiet part so fucking loud.
Could be that.
Or they're looking at the fact of, because
Yes.
what I do is it's like you give the join conversations, you do all you can with that. But PRV is one of those things where it's not easier
You
to attain.
control that
Yeah.
a lot more. You like to have your control a lot
I
more.
love that she's trying to like reel that in. Like,
You just f***ed us right up the ass with a cactus.
beautiful work, Justin. Props to you.
More. And so none of this is negative or anything. I just want you guys to think. And I was seeing if anybody had a thought on something they were working on from a recruiting standpoint that worked to help build their team or grow leaders, which, like I said, that's something that we're working.
And if there is anything too that you guys think of tonight or that you're doing to build, to sponsor or to build leaders or to grow your team, share that on any of our pages. And
That's a good point too. I've noticed that a lot too. We've noticed that in
who
other
is that?
groups
Oh
too.
yeah.
If Scentsy's numbers are so bad right now, the best way to make money, if it's not a pyramid scheme, is to up your sales. You should be talking about sales, not recruiting. If it's not a pyramid scheme, sell more product, make more money, not recruit more people, make more money, save Scentsy.
We've noticed that.
She said, I'm going to read it even though people can see it. She said, could be the nose, but also when people join, they don't work. So then the focus
We've
goes
noticed
back
that
to
too.
those that are participating in our business. Example, our customers. 100. That's 100% my issue
authentic.
right now.
And like I said, I want this to be authentic stuff too, but I just want you guys to think about what worked. Okay, now think about something that you have been doing, but it's not working and you haven't seen it work in a long time. What's something that you've been doing that you need to let go of or do something different?
Let go of.
Just think about it. Something that you consistently be doing. It could be as easy as nobody is ordering my scent of the month samples anymore. It could be as easy as nobody's buying LTOs no more, but I spent this amount of time on promoting them. It could be I've done this training this way, but nobody's engaging. I've done this way, nobody like.
And I know for me, I'll start. So like I was doing YouTube videos. I gave it like 2 years almost. I really was trying like for customers and I wasn't seeing.
I need to let go of the wing it system. That is the most authentic, awesome comment.
Who is it? Oh, Nikki knows. I know, Nikki. I know. I know. We've been working on it. But here's the thing too. You have to look at, when you look at your business, you have to look at, we are basically flying this plane and we are building this plane. This is not a corporate job. Yeah. This is not, you know what I mean? And so also giving yourself grace and knowing when to let go. So like even me, for example, with the YouTube, I was like, probably 3 months ago, I was like, I could be more productive by simply meeting somebody for coffee and recruiting them. Yeah. Or so
it wasn't about sales. Your YouTube channel was just strictly about recruiting people. Do we see a trend?
Oh, that is something I'm letting go. I'm done with
that. And I love this. Michelle, I need to go thinking I'm not good enough as a leader and to start sharing what I do because it does work. Yes,
Amen.
It does.
Alex, letting go of constantly posting in people's groups and they are. Oh, 100. Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. This is why for me, Facebook is like, it can be so overwhelming. When y'all are in all those pages, it can feel like you need to post. But like I've always told my leaders, and I'm going to tell y'all right now, y'all never have to post in any of my pages. Y'all never have to do any of that. I want y'all focusing on your business, your team, Amen. Your leaders, everything that you do extra that you do on Anchored Sense or Anchored Together, though, we see it and we are grateful, but you never have to do that.
Courtney Mars getting rid of her team chat. Yeah. And so that, I just want you and think about this further, because I know this is kind of on the spot, but I want you to go into the next week and the next 2 weeks. And my challenge of you is to go through and look at every single paycheck you had in this past year. Because you need to do that. If this is serious to you, you want to learn to grow, look at every paycheck you had. What was your best? What was your worst? What happened in the best month that made it the best? And what was going on in the worst month? I want you to go do a deep dive. Now, Scentsy is very cyclical. What that means is your biggest paycheck is probably going to be October or November. Your lowest paycheck is probably going to be in June or July or January.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be. But I want you to go back through, and if you have some sort of system, go through the order history, see why people weren't ordering, see if there was something that happened that you could have done differently.
Or what were
you doing? Yeah.
Just to be honest, because y'all know Chloe, you know me. Maybe you weren't doing nothing that month.
Yeah.
Maybe you ask me how many people I sponsored last month.
So Chloe's going to get mad.
Zero. But guess what? I wasn't trying to sponsor. So when you look at those months,
be honest.
I want you to be honest with yourself. And I want you to go, what was I doing? And again, give yourself grace. But also we talk about this every year, I feel like, but this is so important to start you off. You have to be real with yourself, not to hurt yourself and criticize yourself, but so you can get better, so you can learn and be a better version of yourself this year.
Yeah.
That's why you reflect and look back, but you must look back and look at what you did. And if you're running in a circle like a hamster wheel.
Back to life coach speeches. What is this for?
And you're like, I did everything I need to do. That's when you text your upline and you go, hey, I need a coaching call, and we can look at it and I can go, okay, this is maybe something that you don't see that I see. That's when you reach out to somebody and then get help after you look at everything.
And so another way of looking at this, and this is me using my analytical brain, because 90 days is a true test of everything that you're doing. So habits form within 90 days. So you can see the habits you were doing and the mood you were in 90 days. And I know that that's a weird way of saying it, but it's true. So what I want you to do, and this is my challenge, after you look at the paycheck, I then want you to do a sort for your pay. And you guys know how to do that, right? How you can create pay statements on your account tab. Does everybody know how to do that? They're saying yes. Everybody's saying yes. I want you to go. So on your accounts tab, you can go down and create a pay statement. What I want you to do, my challenge for you is this. I want you to do a pay statement from January to March, April to June. Do one for every quarter. So you should have 4 statements. I want you to combine all 4 of those statements for last year. And I want you to turn around on the back of those and write what went well, what didn't, That way you can build on this year and change them and compare quarters. Businesses typically work on a quarterly basis.
Which is it? Are you working on a quarterly basis? Are you working on your incentive start to finish? Are you working a calendar year, a fiscal year? Which is it?
I know that for me, when I'm looking at Scentsy, I always don't like to look at things by the month because January is going to be low, but March is probably going to be way better. So I learn more of a sales cycle usually for us, even though we get sales immediately. We also know that we're about to go through a new catalog and people are going to start getting tired of fall scents probably about the end of January. Going into February, they're going to want to be floral. Going into March, they're going to want to be full-blown happy mode.
But let me just pause and say, though, because I keep up with trends, people are still really into wintry, frosty stuff right now.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I haven't even told Justin this can and will be a very successful January with PRV if you focus in on getting that clean, fresh, frosty, wintry vibe.
Yeah.
Because people are very much still into that this month.
Now, and then we're going to take it a step further, okay? And then I promise you, I'm going to go through everything else. I'm going to go through everything else really quick because the stuff you've heard, I'm just breaking it down a lot more simple.
We'll share the notes.
And yeah, we'll share the notes. So after you look at your paychecks, you get your quarter. Now, within those quarters, I want you to write down your top 3 customers in each quarter. All right? Do that. Okay? After you do that, then I want you to ask how many times you asked those 3 people to join Scentsy or if they join Scentsy. There you go.
I would even take it a step further.
You got 12 people to follow up with though, unless it's the same people. And if it's the same people, then go down further. That's your 12 people this year. You've already got 12 prospects to join already this year.
But even
We're in trouble. We need to recruit.
Again, it should be, we're in trouble. We need to sell more. Sell more, make more. This is a problem.
even take it a step further, if they are local, if they are within 35 miles of you, try to just get coffee with them. This sounds very like you don't have time, you don't whatever. My best consultants that I still have to this day, I either met with coffee or stopped and took time with them. Just if they're local, I want to encourage you, just try to be like, hey, I actually have a little goodie bag I can give you too. Let's grab coffee or let's, you know what I mean?
And we're doing this exercise too, by the way. I'm gonna pull all this stuff for Chloe for her to look at. And I want January to be a working month for 2025.
Ooh,
interactive for everybody. Because I feel like if we're working together and looking at this stuff together, then we can get on the same path together for it.
We
So
can do another call end of month too, actually.
to see everything. So has anybody ever done an exercise like this before?
When would we do this?
I'm just talking. I'm just seeing. I'm just curious to know. So this is where you start actually getting into, I don't like to say into the weeds, but just really understanding. And I promise you, it will probably shock you because I get shocked all the time with where did this customer come from? How did they find me? Why did they order from us? I said that to Chloe 20 times this year and she's just like, I don't know. And she ends up following up with them. She's like, oh, dang, this is actually a really cool person. And so it's just it's recruit and research. It's something I do. I'm back into doing the same thing again now. I did it for 15 years when I worked at a bank, got out of the bank, did it when I worked at Smash, following up with the customers. And then I've been out of it for a while. So now my mind's just racing again, because this is how you make people feel special, but it also gives you a pulse on your business. And it may surprise you. You may look at it like, wow, yeah, I was down in January and I was doing this wrong, but dang, I picked it up in March. Or dang, I could have done this. Wow, I missed this. What did Scentsy do back in March? Let me go look at the newsletter.
Well, they were energized about the catalog. So it's also how do you energize yourself this month? So I really love that Justin is saying, let's take January as what'd you say, a working month?
Yeah.
To really everything we talked about tonight, to really map out your year.
Yeah, go ahead.
These poor consultants are listening to all this shit and they didn't even know they were going to be hit with all of the changes. This is definitely, now that they said it's January, is definitely before all of the changes were announced. So I saw not a lot of consultants that were excited for the new catalog after those changes were announced. It didn't age well.
Go ahead and let's map out the year. And so that's what I said. It's a simple system. That's the first thing, just a simple system. And it's basic stuff of just knowing your business and knowing what is successful for you and what doesn't work and getting rid of it. The main thing for leaders,
get rid of it.
The main thing for leaders and what slows a leader down is not their leadership ability. What slows a leader down more than anything is having too many activities, because you're distracted
and we overthink a lot.
Yeah, and that is definitely the killer. You got to just learn how to just make a decision of what works and what doesn't.
And set a timer if you have to. Just do it.
And so you will be a lot
Make a decision and set a timer. What? Thanks?
less overwhelmed once you have a plan and you know your business vision for 2025, or at least for the next 90 days. Like I said, I like to look at things in a 90-day cycle. If it works for 90 days, it's going to continue to work for the next 90 days. And then when it stops about 45 days into that 90 days, okay, I need to pivot for the next 90 days. We need to do something else.
Let me do a coaching call with Chloe or your upline. That's when you need a coaching call.
That's where it's like, okay, I've been doing this. It's not working anymore. What do I need to do now? And sometimes it's going back to something you did 6 months prior to that or a year prior to that and starting back over and going to there again. But a 90-day plan, I think, is golden, because I'll be honest with you. I have been in business.
He's
I have
a 12-week year. Yes.
I have been in business or been around businesses my whole life, from my dad starting a plumbing business. I've been around entrepreneurs my whole life. You'll hear, and in the banking world, I see it all the time. I have yet to see a budget, a sales plan, or anything that you set in January hit in December. Something always happens. Yearly goals are great. Don't get me wrong. But the likelihood of 100% hitting what is going to happen without being ready for something else to happen. So my suggestion is make a 12-month plan, but then break it down.
That's great, though.
Yeah.
You get 50% of that go up in the plan for the year, and baby, that's better than nothing.
So what I'm saying is make the 12-month plan, then break it up into quarters. See what you did. So take your plan that you want to do this year.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I feel for these people. I truly do. Because like I said, I'm so grateful I wasn't successful in Scentsy, because I'd be shitting my pants right now. This whole team sat on this call, allegedly, and planned out their year and their goals, and then everything changed essentially overnight. What a waste of time.
Okay. And this is the simplest way I can explain it. So if it's confusing, I'm sorry. Take your plan for this year, compare it to what you did last year. If you are way off, meaning I'm just throwing numbers out there, 40,000 this year in sales, but you only did 13,000, that's not a realistic goal. You want to make sure you're increasing everything by 20%. So take what you did last year in recruiting, PRV, and only increase it by 20%. That's realistic. That's what every business does. It's always a 20% increase.
That's great. Move on, babe.
So a simple system. Yeah, that's
We've got lots of notes, and we got 15 more minutes.
Yeah, I'm not like
These babies is tired on here.
All right, so basically, it's just literally you just need to have a simple system, and I don't want to even run through this, but I always say this: you dedicate, if you can, 1 hour a day to Scentsy.
Well, and if you can't, a lot of people can't do an hour a day. Like I said, find your pocket. We talked a lot about that.
30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night.
You have to figure out when to work. It depends on your goals too. Like if you're trying to make $2,000 paychecks consistently with Scentsy, you gonna have to work a little more. So you have to do that.
My suggestion, and Chloe already said it, is for PRV, get great at one system. What's one system in PRV, whether it's texting your customers with a mail out, following up, what's one system altogether that you're going to master this year? And how are you going to master it? It's not just saying, oh, I'm going to get really great at Scentsy Club. Okay, well, how are you going to get really great? That's a part
of the action plan.
How are you going to get really great at Scentsy Club? Break it up. All right. And Chloe already said this too. It's in my notes. It's so funny. Setting yourself up for success is my second thing, and it's your environment. So I can't explain that. Even for me, I work in chaos sometimes, but I work my best whenever I have everything laid out for me that I know in plans for me to work on.
Because I'm going behind him in the house and picking up all the hangers and picking up all the stuff. And that's why.
So anyways, so your environment is important. Having things around there, keep your goals visible. Like I said, you got to keep them visible.
Y'all, get an acrylic board. They're so good.
Distractions are huge, because I am a squirrel.
No, you are a man-child bro marketer, not a squirrel.
I was at this house for 2 years after I sold my company, just working with Chloe. And when I started work, I feel like I've gotten more done around the house with me being back at a job than I did when I was here for 2 years. And the reason why is
working from home ain't no joke. You don't discipline, man.
But the reason why is because I don't have the time now, and I have to eliminate the distractions, and I have to wake up and get things done because I'm not distracted. Here, I could find 100 things that are not important to do throughout the day. So the environment's good. Mindset's great. What's something that builds your positivity up? For people, it's reading devotions, it's reading your Bible, it's podcasts. What's something that is a positive influence in your life that gives you the biggest uplifting thing. Start your day off with some positive affirmation, any type of positivity. Fill yourself with a
Have goals and be positive. This is where the toxic positivity comes in, isn't it?
spirit if you have to, whatever it is to get yourself ready for today, to limit distractions and get going.
I'm going to share too on the pages after this call tonight. There was a video. I've talked about this on my trainings in the past, but I forgot what it was called now. I can't believe it, but it was like a boxing voice in the background, like a man.
Mhm.
Remember?
Oh yeah, it was, yeah. You said I had say
listened to this video for a whole year, and it was just about being determined and getting it done. And like, it was crazy. But in that year that I listened to that, I would listen to it over and over. It's called like the greatest motivational speech of all time is literally the title of it on YouTube, and I'll share it. But that, like, I just remember listening to that. It'd be like 1 a.m. and I'd be finishing up working Scentsy, or like 5 a.m. getting ready for work. Cause I used to be a nurse, and it really motivated me. Like, so I'm gonna share that.
And that's just it. So and within the setting yourself up for success, I broke it out into 3 things: that your environment, your mindset, and your schedule. That's how those 3 things, environment, mindset, and schedule, is how you set yourself up for success. So within your schedule, how you don't look at it so much as a day, you look at it on a weekly basis. It's the same thing with looking at things on 90 days. You want to look at it on a weekly basis. So Chloe talks about time blocking all the time. It works, guys. You just got to stay consistent with it. Mm-hmm. Consistency builds. So
again, it does not work for everybody, and that's okay. Saying that you have to make it work to your team is toxic. That's not going to help them. If it doesn't work for them, they have to find something else that will work for them. They can't just keep doing it and keep messing up. It's very discouraging when you're just not cut out to work off of something like that and you're being told that's the only way to do it.
If you only have 30 minutes on Monday to do something and 30 minutes on Friday to do something, what is the highest impact after you do the activity I asked you to do, on what went well, and what do you need to keep doing?
And I'm going to tell y'all what you would do if you just had Monday and Wednesday. Monday, you're having recruiting conversations and connecting. Wednesday, you're selling. Those are the 2 most important things, guys, that you need to do in your business. I promise
you, I did this exercise and it made me sick. I remember we did it in a church worship small group one time. Go into the settings and look at how much time you spend on your phone.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, you said you don't have an hour. I promise you, you do.
That's why I don't scroll, man.
The narrative that you're not doing enough if your screen time is too high is horseshit. We're no longer in the 1900s, as much as I want to say and think that we are. We are not. And screens are just a way of life now. And a lot of things are done on our phones, on our computers, on our laptops, on whatever it is. A lot of things are done on screens now. That is the way of the world. So villainizing the people who have higher screen time than others is also not helpful. This is not helpful for everybody. It might be helpful for you to discipline yourself and look down on yourself when your screen time is high and then tell yourself that time blocking is the only way, but that is not helpful for most other people.
On all the apps.
I promise you do. Has anybody done that exercise before? Where you look at the settings and look at the time spent on your phone?
Look right now. Type in the comments. Y'all go look on your phones. Tell us.
I was trying to find my phone earlier. I wanted to do it. Let me look at
Tell us, how much screen time did you have today?
Let's see. I'm going to look at Chloe's rule.
Y'all look. I know mine's bad.
I just want to see.
I try to eliminate distractions as much as possible. I turn my Wi-Fi on. I don't know why it's off. My Wi-Fi is off.
Okay. I'm doing it right now.
Beth's. Is that CC?
Probably.
All right. Well, you need to get her and get off my phone.
Hold on. How do you get a screen time?
Baby, we don't have time to be doing that right
now. Click on Chloe.
We don't have time. Cece's walking down. You need to continue. You need to keep going, baby. You're training. I'll get her.
All right. But yeah, so hey, baby girl. Our daughter just woke up. All right. So everybody's sharing it in the comments. I'll share it real quick too.
Can you say hi?
Say hi. Hi. 4.5 hours. 1.5 hours was work/Scentsy. Okay, so people are doing it 9 hours, man. Yeah, it just blows your mind sometimes when you look at it. But anyways, yeah. So I shared simple systems, keeping things simple as possible. Like I said, breaking down as much as you possibly can, setting yourself up for success with your environment, mindset, and your schedule. And I like to use Sundays too. At least setting 3 goals you want to accomplish for the week. 3 goals for that week you want to accomplish is huge on
Well, and
Sundays.
the big thing, honestly, I the 3 goals a week for whatever sounds great on a Sunday. We don't do that most of the time. You know what we do really do on Sundays? We reset.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
We clean the house. I make sure my stuff is ready for the week. My clothes are washed. We set ourselves up for success every Sunday. And that, if y'all, I mean, I'm sure there's many of y'all on here that know what I'm talking about. You're like, let me go to the grocery store on Sunday. So just set yourself up for success on Sundays or on that day, because that's really going to help you get ready for the week in your business when everything else is done.
And that's it. And just like I said, my main thing, and I have something on here and I've shared this every year, is the realistic goals. And that's why I say, don't try to increase yourself so much and set yourself up for failure. It's easy to say, I want to do 5,000 PRV a month, every month. Well, if you were only doing 1,000 or if you're only doing 700, that is very hard. I'm not saying you cannot attain it. I'm saying it is very hard to attain. So just make sure, follow the SMART goal framework, which is the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So you just want to make sure these goals are something that you can actually track. They're SMART, and I always say realistic, because I remember I used to be very ambitious, and when I didn't hit the goal or I didn't even come close, then it got to the point of, well, why am I even making goals then? I'm not even coming close to hitting them or doing whatever I want to do with them. So then I started coming back and just trying to increase at least 5% or 1% better, or doing something a little bit better every day.
It's definitely giving all the bro marketer vibes. The amount of times I've heard SMART goals from bro marketers is nauseating.
And that's why, people talk about New Year's resolutions. By the second Friday, they're done. And so instead of that's why I feel like sometimes we can get like that within our Scentsy, where we make like a Scentsy resolution or some type of resolution to where it's going to be better, it's going to be different, where really it's just the next day as far as going into the new year. I've kind of grown. I love the new year, new me, the new this, new that, but literally it's just going to another day. And so the way you get better and staying consistent with your resolutions is developing the habits and getting 1% better every day.
You get better by just doing it.
Yeah, better. You get better by doing it 1% better every day. And so that's honestly what I had on all of my trainings. Chloe actually covered a lot of it and everything like that.
You don't know how to do it? Well, just do it and keep doing it, and then you'll learn, and then you'll get better.
What dimension is this? Y'all have no idea what you're doing. Just say it.
So like I said, my homework for you guys, to remember one thing: your biggest paycheck, your lowest paycheck. What were you doing that month? What were you doing this month? Then taking the 90-day every quarter and looking at what you're doing, your top customers, and if they joined or how many conversations you had. And then we're going to talk about more on the pages and stuff.
Yeah. What we're going to do is we're actually going to, so first of all, don't forget anchoredscents.com. In the leadership section on that website, we have an action plan there for you that will walk you through how to make one. Okay. I'm also going to post the motivational video because it's fire. But also, we are going to schedule a call when we get off this call for the end of this month, and we'll put it on the pages to hold you guys accountable and to do an actual recap. And Justin's going to walk through the next steps after the plan he's talking about to hold you guys accountable for the month of January. I think that's needed right now. I know I need it. And that way,
a 2025 plan for the year and help you guys get it going.
Yeah. So we will schedule that. We're going to post that on the pages so y'all know when that call will be. It's going to be recorded like this one. And then that way we can have a plan for everybody. And we can also have everybody's videos together on that call. So everybody can come up and kind of talk with Justin, and we can kind of make sure everybody's good, that everybody has just a direction. We just need a direction. We want you guys to feel encouraged, excited. We want you guys to figure out how to tap into motivation, because there's a way to actually tap in when you're not feeling motivated, to tap in and get the things done you need to do. So we'll do that and get that scheduled and posted as well. I think
it's great.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to stop the recording.
Amazing. Yes. And I have that recording too, and we'll be reacting to that in the next video. If that wasn't just the biggest display of them telling us that they have no f***ing clue what they're doing or what's happening in their business. It's just very clear. Anyway, I've had a few people reach out about my new makeup routine, and shout out to Olivia Lopes from the H3 podcast, the H3 show. I am a huge fan. I'm always watching H3. They're always on my phone if I'm not working. She did a makeup tutorial recently.
Hello everybody, welcome to my makeup tutorial. I just know that when I put this paint on my face, I feel like a doll. It's fair for us to want to look like a doll. Doing content alone is weird, but I love it and I'm gonna learn to be better at it. I'm improving every day. Put it like in the pocket under my eye. I like to look like I got punched.
I'm going to link it in the description because I will live and die by her makeup tutorial and routine for at least the next week or two. We'll see what happens. Anyway, shout out to her. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me while I talk a bunch of shit, and I will see you in the next one.
Someplace I could hide away. I feel like blessing my ride today. I feel like blessing my ride today.